The US pairing of Federer Gorst and
we saw missing the 8 ball into the middle pocket. Then we saw him miss a 6 in his next match, down the rail into the far pocket. It was kind of the story of the day for them, Carl.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so bizarre, isn't it? Because we're used to seeing them, obviously, playing in the Mosconi Cup and sort of not missing these balls. And, you know, even after the team point where Fran looked a little shaky and obviously lost it, this is the next match. You're looking for Jason Shaw to come out and kind of get a grip of it and show why he's obviously one of the best Mosconi Cup players of all time, and he missed a few balls. It was just, it was a bit of a strange watch, to be honest.
Yeah, if we are to put one positive spin, though, on the rest of the world's performance, it is that nobody was really breaking that well yesterday, except for the world #1, Federer Gorst. That was a real strength in his game.
Yeah, and when they had the players mic'd up, you could hear Federer telling Skyler, you know, the table breaks like the practice room. I think Federer's back there working with them on the break, and the other positive that they should definitely be taking from this is they're getting some looks. Asia's playing good, they're playing solid, they're not playing perfect. So they're getting looks, they just have to take advantage today.
Yeah, they certainly do. Well, Jeremy Jones, we know that he has a wealth of experience, and he's certainly going to need to draw on some of that over the course of today's play.
Yesterday was not a good day for a friend of mine, so I think it's time to take his mind off the action. Jeremy, let's go, pal. We're going to go for a little ride around Manila in the Jeepney. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, good.
After you, let's get in.
All right.
Have you been on one of these yet?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
Yeah, they're pretty cool, though. Hop on when you want, get off when you want.
Jeremy, let's talk about last night. Didn't quite go your way. What's your assessment, obviously, looking back now?
We let them clean up a lot of racks. Honestly, I don't think either team brought their best game. Obviously, we were under there. I don't really feel like it's a big comeback thing. I don't think the deficit is that great. You know, I wasn't in your camp last year, obviously, but all I felt for these guys is it's not an exhibition at all. They really want this W.
I don't know about you, buddy, but it's a little bit warm. Should you have a little wander?
Certainly.
What do you say to the lads after the opening night, Jeremy? What was said?
You know, Team Asia didn't play like just totally outstanding. Hats off to them, though. I mean, they did get the points. They got the job done. Arnold Palmer used to say he'd give it 10 seconds of not so nice things saying, and then he'd get on with it. And that golfer has 5-8 minutes walking to his ball. So, well, we got 30 seconds between shots. So it's got to be very minimal, and you got to get done with anything negative and push forward.
Right, let's look at this evening's play. You've gone strong with Federer. What's your thoughts?
I think Federer looked the best out of any player out there. I think he's going to continue to even get better. He's a guy that's going to lead all these types of teams for a long time, and why not now?
And what about a sort of scoreline? What are you looking? Is it just a case of trying and win the session?
Well, yeah, you know, when you're trailing, it's all about tracking them down. It's not going to happen immediately. You know, those teams are, you know, just like any race, they're going to keep running. We just got to keep up and do a little better each time, you know.
Right, JJ, good luck tonight. All the best. Let's try and turn it around, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent stuff. Right then, let's have a look at the order of play for day #2. And it is that second match of 5 that really does stand out, isn't it? 18-year-old rookie AJ Manis going up against the world #1 and 2023 champion of the world in Federer Gorst. Interesting to hear JJ say there that he felt that he was the strongest player in action for the rest of the world yesterday. The other singles match, of course, sees Dương Quốc Hoàng taking on Skyler Woodward. As we mentioned yesterday, it did take what was Team Europe last year, of course, until the last day of action last year in order to win a singles match. They're going to need to win one a bit sooner this time around. But we have traded places. Scott Frost has left us, delighted to be joined now by the captain of Team Asia. Buster, great to have you alongside us yet again. How do you reflect on what happened here yesterday?
Well, you know, my team, they was so playing good, and they don't want to miss. And because they practice a lot. So, and our opponent, you know, they miss a lot of shots. So, of course, the game is changed.
Yeah, do you expect the rest of the world to be stronger today? Because I don't think many of us expected them to miss as many pots as they did yesterday.
Well, you know, it's very hard to say, but all I can say, is just want to make sure my team is ready for that, you know, and it's 50-50, but they try our best.
And we've just looked at the order of play there. AJ Manis is going to be taking on the world #1, Fedor Gorst. What are you expecting from that one?
Well, I just talked to AJ, you know, and he was so happy for that. And do you know what he say? And he told me he's gonna beat Fedor Gorst.
Efren's in the house. He's over there signing everything. I can see him. What have you said to Efren? Any words between the both of you?
Yeah, because they miss my body, you know. Yesterday he's not here, but today he's here. So, Efren, are you ready to interview?
He's a little busy signing away and taking pictures.
Yeah, I think he's ready. But just finally, what are the main things that you want to get out of today's play?
Well, it's like I say, it's too tough, you know. And all I can say is just they're ready for that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we'll see what's going on today.
Absolutely. Thank
Yes.
you very much for joining us. The best of luck for this afternoon session. Let's have a look then at what the fans think is going to happen today. It was pretty conclusive yesterday, wasn't it? The majority expecting that whitewash from Team Asia. That is, of course, what we got. But when we cast our eye over that, it's pretty conclusive yet again, Carl Boys. But that Manis-Gorst match, that's the one where Gorst 26%. What are you expecting from that match? Really interesting to get Buster's thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, on paper, we know Gorst would be favourite in one of the big tournaments, but, you know, we've been saying AJ's a huge talent. I'm looking at this team point, never mind, you know, the second point. If the rest of the world can just come out here, pinch this first team point, and obviously then it's the bit of the Fedor show, and, you know, they can get back in the match, but I think, as Scott said earlier on, it's just keep things basic, try not to miss easy balls or do anything, you know, silly, because everyone's going to make mistakes, but they made some glaring ones yesterday, so it's just kind of getting rid of them ones. And
just a word as well on Dương Quốc Hoàng, who's taking part in the other singles match. He was so consistent last year. We kind of expect more of the same this time around. He's taking on Skylar Woodward. Do you think Skylar's going to feel that he's got something to prove out here today?
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously such a fun guy to be around, and sort of the last few years he's been the main man for America in the Moscone Cup. Obviously, if you look at it tonight, we've got the two Americans coming out playing singles, and listen, it's not over yet, it's only 4-0, you know what I mean? It sounds a bit crazy, and I'm sure people watching thinking it is over, but I think there's something written in the stars. I think it's going to be a bit more of a closer affair tonight.
Yes, certainly not over yet. But can Team Asia extend their advantage in this team's match, or can the rest of the world start their fight back?
Philippines!
Are you ready for this?
Make some noise! The talking is over. The action begins. There's that cheer. Can you believe? Not just a victory, a dynamic display. Well, it's a race to 5. It's brutal.
Magandang gabi, Pilipinas! And good evening, everyone. World 9-Ball Tour proudly presents live from the Ninoy Aquino Stadium, Day 2 of the LiveSB.io Reyes Cup, brought to you by LiveSB.io in partnership with Puyat Sports. This event celebrates the passion and precision of pool and, of course, honor the legacy of the incomparable Efren Bata Reyes. And we are very lucky to be graced by his presence tonight. Masigabong palakpakan naman para kay Efren Bata Reyes. All right, what an opening day we had. Team Asia came out firing, whitewashing Team Rest of the World, taking a commanding 4-0 lead. The question now is, will Team Asia stay dominant, or can the rest of the world catch up here in Day 2? We are going to find out in just a few moments, as it's now time to meet the teams once again, starting out with Team Rest of the World.
Listen, you hear that? Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle. Killers in the jungle.
Team Captain Jeremy Jones. The players Fedor Gorst, Jason Scholl, Skylar Woodward, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, and Moritz Neuhausen. Once again, Team Rest of the World. it's time to meet your home squad. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending champions of the Reyes Cup. Please welcome Team Asia! They're led by team captain Django Bustamante. The players, Carlo Biado, Aloysius Yap, Johan Shua, Duong Kwok Huang, and AJ Manas. The table is ready, the teams are ready. Filipinas, are you ready?
Right then, the start of 2 days here in Manila, day 2 even, and the first of potentially 5 pivotal matches for Team Rest of the World as they look to claw their way back into this contest. Asia 5-1 winners in this team match yesterday, capitalising on errors from FSR and Moritz Neuhausen, and there was also a standout break and run from rookie AJ Manis too. So to find out who'll claim the first point of the day, let's head to Scott Frost and Michael McMullen.
Thanks, Abigail. Good afternoon, everyone. Earlier today, I spoke in the hotel with Rest of the World captain Jeremy Jones, who told me he and his players had an honest conversation last night after they got back. He liked the response he got. Now he needs a response where it really matters.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I think the rest of the world knows what needs to be done.
And we start with a rerun of this year's World Championship final, in which Carlo Biado, the man sitting down, deposed the man currently at the table. Fedor Gorst is going to get this second day off and running.
Yeah, and Fedor was heads above the rest of the team in the break department. And there's another look. The problem here seems to be the story. He does not have a look at the next ball, which is the red 3 in the upper left corner. Most likely going to roll out, but I'll tell you what, I'm not against the man at the table holding the short cue. He's so good with it. We saw what he did yesterday. Incredible, in my opinion. Never dreamed in my career I would see somebody use the jump cue the way this guy does. Looking to come down to the lower right corner potentially. Maybe a jump on the 8 or over the 8. And that's what it's going to be. This is where he takes advantage of his ability with that short stick. Nobody else would even consider this. Makes it look easy, Michael.
That's always the thing with him and the jump shot. Just treats it the same as anything else, really. He expects to make them.
Oddly enough, for Fedor Gorst, this shot probably about 10 times more difficult than the shot he just played. I know that sounds crazy. Might not even consider the attack here. And I can't fault him if he wants to send this up table or shave it and send the cue ball up table.
So Carlo Beato, who was all smiles yesterday after winning the only singles match of day one, holding off Moritz Neuhausen 5-3. Part of the winning team in the inaugural Reyes Cup last year. Wouldn't say it was outstanding in terms of how he performed on an individual basis, but off to a good start in that regard in 2025.
Yeah, guys, if you're wondering why Gorst passed up the aggressive, he was going into the 9 with the cue ball. Did sell out a look here. A long one, straight in. And this is a misfire. This is a big opportunity if this gets clear of the green, and it has.
Team Rest of the World need a big start to the day from Gorst. He's involved in all of the first 3 matches. This one, then a singles, and a doubles.
I don't believe there's anybody better in the industry at using the shot clock than Fedor Gorst. He's got a subconscious way about himself now, just knows when that clock is down to the 10-second mark. That's just what he does. He's trained with it, I guarantee you, hundreds if not thousands of times behind the scenes. Playing pretty quickly here, though. Table plays very quick, so pounding out to the center, not an issue. Going to the lower right.
So routine stuff now. A long road back already from 4-0 down. This is the first small step. The world #1 defeats the world champion. Fedor Gorst takes the opening rack for Team Rest of the World. Now, when we have big events like this, Scott, there might be people who are new to the game and don't understand all the nuances and subtleties of it. So we had the push-out situation there. Just explain to people who aren't familiar with the game what that's all about.
Yeah, no matter what happens on the break shot, if you break, make a ball, you have the option, if you don't like what you have laying at the table, to call a push-out or a roll-out. What happens at that point is you can roll the cue ball anywhere you would like at any point in time during that shot. The oncoming player has the option of taking it where it lies or returning it to the breaker.
There you can see how it all works. 11 is the target, same as the Mosconi Cup. 5 players on each team, and as you can see, there are restrictions as to how often players can take to the field. It's all race to 5, alternate breaks. It's different to the winner breaks format that we have at most of the events throughout the year. That really wouldn't work in a race to 5. But these really are just sprints for these guys. They're used to playing longer matches than this all the time, really.
Yeah, totally agree, but also what's different is the Rest of the World drew first blood, whereas FSR missed that 8-ball in the side yesterday. Could make a huge difference for the momentum.
Yap was the only Asian player to lose a rack in yesterday's team match. He starts us off in rack 2 here.
Yeah, and it's going to be ball in hand for the Rest of the World. Yap with a scratch to the lower left corner, had to have received a kiss in order to do that. I don't believe it's scratched straight in. We'll have another look. Yeah, big brutal kiss, I believe, off the brown 7. Okay, opportunities arising early for the Rest of the World. Does the 4, which is the pink ball, pass the brown 7? If it does, there's no reason they shouldn't get out here.
Yeah, Yap, the only loser on the home team in the team match yesterday, as I was saying, and it was Shaw who defeated him.
He's coming over for the combination. Interesting. I don't hate it. I'd like to have had about 3 more rotations on the cue ball, but here now, the good news is, and you can see what he's doing with his cue, is he can draw to the left long rail and drop down below the purple 5 as a backdoor safety. problem with that is you're splitting your focus on the combination now. If anybody can do it, it's Jason Shaw.
Ball in hand, 3 shots later, Jason Shaw has won an extremely short rack. The rest of the world now leading 2-0. So again, for people who might be new to the game, in 9-ball, so long as you hit the lowest numbered ball remaining on the table first, any pot is legal and it keeps you at the table. So for example, if you play the 2 onto the 6 and knock that in, that's fine, that keeps you at the table. And you've basically got to play the balls in sequence other than that. In terms of the potting, most of the time it's one number followed by the next one, but combinations like that available along the way, and the winner of the rack is whoever pots the 9-ball. In that case there, Shaw was able to play the 3 onto the 9 and pot the 9, and that was the end of that. So, a brief explanation there of the basics of the game.
And you just saw the GOAT, the greatest to ever do it, Efren Reyes with Puch Puyat, the promoter.
I thought I was sitting next to the GOAT. You always tell me.
You're so kind. Yeah, right. I wish.
So, Skylar Woodward, who actually was the only player on either team not to get a shot in the opening team match yesterday, as AJ Manis ran out from the break against him.
Oh, and that's a great sign. 2 needs to settle. It's not going to. The impact of this rack is massive, in my opinion. They need Woodward to shine here. I know it's just 1 rack, but it's vital for the rest of the team.
Yeah, Woodward, part of that Hill match, the only one we had yesterday, right at the end of the day, along with Federgorst. They put up a great fight. Eventually went down 5-4 to Duong Kwok Kwang and Johan Chua. It's Duong who Woodward is up against here. His great pal and doubles partner from yesterday up to the table to help him out.
I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I've got to be honest, and that's what I'm getting paid for. I don't know. I guess maybe Skylar's asking for the help, right? Maybe just indecisive, not confident, but Skylar's a grown man and a great player, a world-class player. Does it help him or hurt him to have the conversation?
Yeah, sometimes getting another opinion can only put more thoughts in your head and cloud your judgment a bit more. But I guess if you have an idea in your head and you're not sure about it, and then your friend, such a great player himself, comes up to the table and reassures you about it, it might help from a confidence point of view. I guess everyone's thinking is different in that respect.
There's a player that struggled yesterday, Duong. And that's about as sweet as it gets. Caught the outside of the pocket, but that's where you want to hit it on this tight Rassen table.
Tends to be strong from distance, Duong. I think we were discussing this in Hanoi last week at the tournament there, that his inconsistency is actually on the more mid-distance shots that he misses.
Yeah, very well said, and I think the reason he's so good from distance is if we pay attention to his backswing, it's always the same. Very slow, very controlled, meaning when his movement forward is in action, it's always under control.
Vietnam having a real surge in pool over the last few years. And this man is at the forefront of it. Particularly this year, he's had a lot of good tournaments. Last year he won a ranking event for the first time, the Scottish Open. Not quite of the prestige of, say, the Hanoi Open we were at last week, but still a very strong field he had to come through. So a very good player and part of the winning team here in Manila last year.
Yeah, and a big miscue there.
Always happens when you're bigging someone up.
touch of outside spin on this. Great recovery. Great recovery. Day 1 of the Hanoi Open, he looked real suspect. Day 2 of the Hanoi Open, he looked like a completely different player. He's looking real good here. Might have fallen a little straighter than he would have liked. This should not be an issue where the 9 is at.
Well, in the race to 5, even this early on, it was a rack that the home team needed to win. Wong has taken his chance well. And the young man we were all talking about last night, AJ Manis, will be up next, looking to get Asia back on level terms here. 2-1 to rest of the world.
Yeah, and it was...
Manila in the Philippines is the home for the 2nd year in a row of the Reyes Cup. This was Jason Shaw with the 3-9 combination that put Team Rest of the World 2-0 in front in this team match to start us off on the 2nd night. Tuấn Quốc Hoàng of Vietnam got one back for Team Asia, the holders of the Reyes Cup. So they're now trailing 2-1, and it's young AJ Manis stepping up for Asia to break in rack 4 against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
All right, stark contrast to what he did yesterday with a great break shot. Today, not so much. Nothing down. And this is an interesting pairing here.
Yeah, Sanchez Ruiz, to some extent, set the tone with his unexpected miss on the 8 ball right at the start of the opening team match last night, and he did play again later in what turned out to be the last rack, but didn't get a shot, so that was his last impression on the team match last night. And then he struggled in his doubles, which he and Jason Shaw lost.
Yeah, coming down behind the purple and the 2. Doesn't want that to fall, I don't believe. But he didn't want it to hang up there either, and he has left it on. That's an error. A lot of work for this young, talented, extremely talented 18-year-old star boy.
Yeah, so much expectation on him, even at only 18. A lot of people, knowledgeable people, have been saying over the last couple of years that I expect a few years from now he's going to be the best player in the world. He's a long way from that at the moment, 66th in the rankings. And he seems to handle all that expectation very, very well. And certainly did last night with how he settled into the Reyes Cup environment.
Yeah, that was extremely tight, especially with the outside spin. Tends to want to throw the object ball to our right a little bit. Does FSR have a peek at the 2? It's acting like he does. Hard to tell.
Travelled here to the venue with him in the car, and seemed to be in good spirits, having put all the disappointment of how he played yesterday out of his mind and ready to refocus for a new day. Although the one shot he's played so far certainly won't have improved his mood.
Yeah, kicking behind this, trying to use the 7 and the 3-4. It's not going to happen. Now an actual open table for AJ Manis. Like to stay below the 4 and 3 here. Just check the cue ball. 1-2. Somewhere where that chalk is on the right side, he would be thrilled as long as he can stay off the rail, unless he can go up high and miss the 7. And that's ideal right there. This is really where we're going to see what the young man is made of. A little bit more of a difficult out here than what he had yesterday after that great break shot. Okay, I've touched on it. I feel at times he does tend to get a bit quick in the backswing, just a bit. He's so quick anyway that it's hard to even recognize it.
So errors on both sides early in rack 4. So a lot of edginess in the early stages of yesterday, I felt, and to some extent throughout the session, and a few early signs of it again this evening.
Oh, and the 8 was going to the upper right and just got grazed by the cue ball. So another look for the 18-year-old superstar. He's so natural, Michael. He did miss the 3 directly in the side, but that's probably already out of his mind at 18 years young. Yeah, would have liked a little bit more out of that. Maybe the back arm raised up just a bit, kind of coming down on the cue ball. Might have to play the 6 in the lower right. Don't mind going forward. Is he drawing this? Yeah, he's going forward.
Well, by my reckoning, Scott, Sanchez Reyes has played 3 shots in this rack and they've all gone wrong. Far from the response he was hoping for after such a disappointing opening night.
And that is exactly where you want to hit the green 6. One big shot, pull this back a few feet, and he's home free. Little flinchy. actually, a lot flinchy. See what you got, AJ. Cross side, 110 mile an hour.
So he's had 3 chances in this rack. Didn't get it done with either of the first 2. Sanchez Reyes kept letting him off the hook. And now the rack has gone the way of AJ Manis. So that 2-0 deficit that Team Asia had in this team match has already been wiped out. Next up, it's Johan Chua, last year's Hanoi Open champion, taking on Moritz Neuhausen, who's been very much the man in form over the last couple of weeks and didn't really look like the player we've seen recently last night. Neuhausen, you might say, well, he's had a lot of matches under a lot of pressure over the last few weeks, but he's 21 years of age, Scots, and he had 3 days after he got here, so I don't really think that would be the explanation for when Neuhausen wasn't quite at the races last night.
Yeah, such a short sprint. There you have a look. Johan Chua, 33 years young, ranked number 4, Michael, $209,000 prize money so far. I keep looking at game number 3, where Woodward made the 1 on the break, had a long 2-ball he could have played safe on, had Federgors to come to the table, decided to take the bank on, missed it. Duong Huoc Wang ran out, and everything since that moment has changed.
Neuhausen was heading for victory in his rack in the team match last night against Duong Huoc Wang. They made a big positional error and it cost him.
Yeah, it was a race to the green 6 between the 8 and the cue ball, and I don't know exactly who won. So we can see the 2. This is triple tough. Got to avoid the 7 and the 9 back and forth, just below the left side, just above the right side. And future problems with the 6 and 8.
And this is another example of what we were talking about, with the player stepping up to give his opinion on it. But it looked as though Neuhausen called in Shaw, and now Gorst has been called in as well. So it's a committee of, well, 4, because Jeremy Jones has joined in now too.
Yeah, just ice the ball.
Yeah, and I don't mind this, right? This is a little different situation between what happened prior, in my opinion. This is just so difficult. You heard Jeremy Jones say just ice the ball. What he means there is just cinch it, just make it, take it where it lies. He did a lot more than just cinch it. He got a ton out of the cue ball there.
Yeah, it was a good effort, that. A lot of pressure on the shot, particularly after all the build-up to it, with his colleagues being involved.
That ball skid, Michael. That ball turned over real bad. I'm not saying he would have made it, but that ball actually grabbed to the cue ball real heavy.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of the players have been suggesting after last night's play that has been a part of proceedings so far on a number of occasions. Chua was part of the winning team last year, just after his Hanoi Open win, but he didn't perform in terms of results on an individual basis. He's already had a doubles win this year, though, in that last match last night. And here has a chance to put Asia in front for the first time in this evening's team match.
Yeah, I'm usually one to call it real quickly if I see it. Yesterday, obviously, maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I hadn't seen anything really skid up to that point. That ball there definitely turned over. Might just go into the purple 5 here, I'm not certain. Yeah, he's going to go. I think he tried to go into it with the cue ball ending up there. There's no way he was trying to miss the 5.
Yeah, the skidding was something that one of the players I was talking to about last night's play brought up very quickly.
Well, we are in a very humid climate, and I think that that favors Team Asia heavily if you throw that into the equation. Boy, what do you do here? Is he going to level up here, try and draw it back? This ball's not in a big ball position. You can catch it too thin. Okay, I think he's chipping it. Still quite messy.
Coming here off the back of a big couple of weeks in Vietnam. He won the Perry Open, big tournament leading up to the Hanoi Open. He almost won that as well, lost in the final, all of which clinched his Reyes place and a Mosconi place for the first time.
Very, very good effort there just to make the 5 and connect with the 8. I think you've got to go below the 7 and 9 here. I'm not certain. Could be banking at this. Two-way. Well, that's no good. I don't know that that's going to reach. It did reach this table lightning fast. The worst by any means. Got into it a little thin from the backside. Such a different format, Michael. If you're out there by yourself and it's 2 games apiece in a long race, you don't have the pressure of the team sitting behind you. You might just bury this ball. But instead, it'll play games with your head, and you choose to play safe.
He's got a lot of team pool to play over the next couple of months between here and the Mosconi defence at Alexandra Palace. It's fair to say Neuhausen is not quite settled in to that form of the game just yet on the basis of what we've seen over the first couple of nights. A definite chance now for Chua. He was so thrilled last night, wasn't he, to get that last 9 ball down and the closing doubles. Knows it didn't go his way in this event last year, even though, as I say, was on the winning team. His individual record was very poor. And he's here looking to make amends for that.
It just seems over and over with Chua. When he has to come with the long ball, when he has to come with the big shot, he's up for it. That needs to chill.
So team rest of the world got off to just the start they were looking for. In no time at all, really. They were into a 2-0 lead. But it's been overturned. Team Asia hit the front for the first time at 3-2. So this form of the game between Mosconi's and Reyes Cups over the years. There have been 32 of them. And in all that time, there have been 10 teams who've been behind after day one and have come back to win. But only 2 of those were more than 1 point behind. And no team has ever won one of those events, having been more than 3 points behind at the end of day one. So it's very important the rest of the world cut that deficit, because they're already trying to do something that's not been done before in that sense. Fedor Gorst, 25 years of age, #1 in the world rankings, twice winner of the World Championship, and was a couple of racks away from winning for a 3rd time earlier this year, which would have equalled Earl Strickland's all-time record. And there's a feeling that he's declined from the amazing 2024 that he had, Scott. But you look how little would have had to happen differently for him to do that World and US Open double again. Narrowly beaten in the final of both events, so there's not a lot wrong with his game.
Yeah, I'll simply second that.
Gorst is looking for his 2nd win over Beato in this team match tonight.
Yeah, that hit was too thick. There's no question.
Well, between this match and the singles he played last night, that means Beato's last 4 breaks now have all come up dry.
Yeah, like I said, they've been getting the looks. Rest of the world. I mean, when they're at the table, you're really supposed to stay in control. I keep going back to game number 3. That's where it all kind of changed. Going to use the 8 here, bringing the 1 back down table. And he got a bad rub off the 9. It didn't look like he used any inside spin to check the cue ball and kind of send the 1 back towards the right side. Surprising there, to be fair. Yeah, and I feel like he's going to make this ball. Wasn't even close, Michael. Yeah, I like the way he struck it. Loosen that back arm up just a bit. Six ball becomes pretty big. Playing position on the 4. So he's got to get good on the 3 here. He's recognized that concern.
Last time Gorst was in this sort of environment was at the Mosconi last year. There was so much expectation on him from a US point of view as they looked for their first win in 5 years after the season he had, but he just didn't show up at all in Orlando that week.
No, so well done there. Made it look much easier than it really is. You've got to stay extremely accurate on your aim point with the cue ball. Similar shot here, except you don't have to come all the way out if you don't like. Wants that to slow down. That'll be fine. caught the 5 a little thin. That's how the cue ball ended up all the way over here versus more towards the middle. Oh, this is tough. No good, Michael.
And suddenly it's all gone very flat for the rest of the world. Sure, all the talk would have been about coming out fighting, getting off to a good start, getting a lot more pressure put on this Asian team. And the early indications were that was what they were doing. It's all turned around over the last 20 minutes or so. And all of a sudden, world champion Carlo Beato needs these 3 balls to get Asia to the hill in this team match at the start of day 2.
Yeah, really not a good way for ROW to go into the ad break here. Just a matter of picking up the pieces for Asia, and it kind of seemed like that off and on yesterday as well, where they were just gifted these moments.
Well, that's it. You're trying to change the flow, change the narrative, but so far, it feels like it's just picked up, really, where it's left off. And between last year and this, Asia have now won the last 3 team matches. Reyes Cup action. And now they're 1 rack away from winning this one as well. Aloysius Yap will be up next, looking to bring it home.
We're coming in with that Fedor miss and another miss. Fedor miss and
Federgort looked like he was going to get Team Rest of the World back on level terms in this team match at the start of day 2, but got himself hampered with his queuing over the 8 ball to try to get to the 6. Missed it by some distance. And Carlo Beato, the champion of the world, did the rest. So now it's Team Asia just looking for one more rack. And next up for them is Aloysius Yap, who's building a wonderful Reyes Cup record. He's now won all of the last 9 matches he's been involved in across team, singles and doubles. And if he can take this rack against Jason Shaw, then he'll be part of another win here.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed. That isn't. Thought he might get a bigger bump. You saw the frustration as they kind of married up. Looked over to the team. Big grin there, and it's not a happy one. I can't fault him if he tries to feather this to the upper left. Cue ball will be traveling pretty hot.
So often in Mosconi's and in this Reyes Cup last year, Shaw's teammates have looked to him to come up with the goods. And things aren't going well. And so often he's delivered.
Yeah, and it's just one moment, Michael, for this guy that can really change the character of the team. Maybe this is it. What a shot. Position on the 3. In my lifetime, I've never seen anybody control an arena full of people in a team setting like this guy here.
Well, when he became playing captain for the first time at the Mosconi last year, it really was just an extension of what he'd been doing for years anyway. When there was a non-playing captain, he was very much the leader in the field. Even when he wasn't playing matches, he'd be out there between racks, geeing up the crowd, getting the party going. And that's the easy part. He's also been such a leader on the table. 3 times an MVP in the Mosconi Cup. He just loves this environment. His teammates are going to love him if he can finish off these last few balls.
Yeah, and you can notice the attention he's giving it. He knows the magnitude. To stay alive, they've got to win this rack.
Not had a break and run from either side yet tonight. That is so Jason Shaw. His team have their backs to the wall. He's been sent into battle and he has delivered, just as he has so many times in the past. So Team Asia's lead trimmed just a little to 4-3, and now it will fall to Nguyễn Hoàng. He'll have the break. Trying to get this done for the home side. These are massive moments in the whole Reyes Cup, Scott, aren't they? 4-0, Jeremy was talking down the extent of that deficit, and understandably so. But if it gets to 5-0, they're almost halfway to victory already, and we're only 1 match into day 2. So these next couple of racks, potentially, enormous.
Yeah, what I kind of would have liked to have seen from Jason there is to go over and kind of like push the guys around a bit, hype them up, give that fist pump. You know, they need some type of spark. Yes, that's great what he just did, but the real Jason Shaw has all this energy, winning or losing, and I'd like to see him let it loose a bit.
So Shaw has done all that he can. He's played Both his racks now in this match. He's won them both. His team have only won one other rack, though. That's why Duong is breaking with his team on the hill here.
Yeah, a great break it was. We'll get another look at it. One is down. The two went down, and he got some big kisses to swing the cue ball 3 rails. This is not what the rest of the world wants, because the long ball is right up this guy's alley. The backswing. Keep an eye on it. Never fast. Wasn't comfortable with the corner pocket there. Awkward on the bridge. And as soon as I say something, which is good news for ROW, but that swing was actually one of the quicker swings I've seen, Michael.
There's been criticism of Skylar Woodward so far in the early stages of this Reyes Cup. He can certainly remove quite a bit of that here if he can take this hill.
It's really good news for him. Hopefully he can settle in a bit. The 5 to the 6 is good. You just got to pull this back a few feet. You don't want to end up short on the purple. You'd rather be below it than above it. I think that's okay. Can he just slow this in with a left ball? He's a bit below it.
Such imposing circumstances. And down there, it's not a big area we're talking about. Probably looks bigger on the screen than it really is, but on one side you've got your teammates who are depending on you. On the other side you've got the opposing team waiting to pounce if something goes wrong. It's such a test of character and poise.
Yeah, he's going to be forced to pound down. Past the 9 and back up. He's got to get above the 6 here. That'll work. Did a great job staying off the rail. I like what he's doing, walking around, slowing himself down just a bit, collecting himself. I think he can go forward, no trouble here. Just don't want to finish on the rail. Good hit, Skylar Woodward.
So Team Rest of the World started the night by winning 2 racks in a row. They then lost all of the next 4. It's a very timely 2 in a row. The 2 men who were opposing playing captains in the Moscone Cup in Orlando almost a year ago. So, having gone to a deciding rack in the last match of day 1, we're going to another decider in the first match of day 2. And it will be the rest of the world with the break. And that will fall to Francisco Sanchez Ruiz as he takes on AJ Manis. FSR hasn't had a good start to the Reyes Cup. He can really change his own personal narrative as well as the flow of the whole tournament right here and now, Scott, with this opportunity.
Yeah, is it destiny? I mean, this could change everything, could actually potentially change the entire Reyes Cup for the rest of the world if FSR can pull this out.
Players who've had contrasting starts to the tournament. The struggles of Sanchez Ruiz. Well, everyone's been talking about Manis. How well he acquitted himself on his first ever night in this sort of environment last night. So Sanchez Ruiz with the break, but really over the first day and a bit of the Reyes Cup, the break has not been as big a factor
Rest of the world to break
as it would normally be expected to be. Here we go then, one rack to decide the first point of this second day in Manila.
And what a big point it is. And it's a common theme. It's dry. Crowd behind the young 18-year-old superstar. Yeah, these hill games are never easy. Nothing ever just wide open. The 2, 4, and the 5 are a mess down low. I'll tell you what, if he could bury this one, it could really start to make him feel a little better in the swing. It's a start. He'd like to get below it. Great hit there. All right, if you consider playing safe here, I think you want to nudge something, meaning the pink. That'll work. You can use the 3 to open the 4 and 5 up. Entertaining tying the 5-3 up, I believe. Took a look at it.
Hindi, banday mo ng tatlong banda ron. Yung tatlong banda ron. Meron, pepektus lang. Pepektus ka lang. Yung tatlong banda.
Direkta lang.
Dito kaya di siya.
Wag mo lang gagawin 4-5.
Champions past and present in the year of the young man.
Yeah, the question mark was, does he tie something up? He's going for the hit. All right, I believe it's on. Now, does the 7 pass the 8 in the future? A lot of work to do. Got to get to the 3 to where the 4 or 5 can be opened up, or you can drop below the 4. He's got plenty of time. One thing I noticed yesterday, especially when he missed the 6, there was 23 or 24 seconds left on the clock. Directly into the rail. That shoulder lunging forward prior to contact.
It just feels like his confidence has taken a battering. And everything that's happened to him so far in this Reyes Cup.
Yeah, it just goes to show even the elites. When he missed the 8 in the side in the teams in game number 1 yesterday, it's clearly affected him. And that would have brought the house down.
As we look at that again, yeah, you're right to refer back to that 8 ball yesterday, and if it was an individual event, you could just get on with the next rack and be plenty more of them to play. Of course, you're playing for your team. It's the one rack you play at that time. You just have to sit and think about it, and of course, set the tone. Team Asia really dominating that opening team match. So it's so much harder to move on from something like that in a team format, particularly when you're only playing races to 5.
Yeah, I actually like what he did there. You don't want to try and come around the 7 and 8 and do anything with this. Don't exactly know what he can do from here. He's probably going to take the worst of this. He'd be thrilled with distance. Cue ball up top somewhere, the 4 down low. But even at that, it's not easy. I think you've got to use the 5 to hold the purple. But the problem is the 6 and 9 on our right side. You've got to avoid any collisions with the cue ball. Young, fearless, and full of talent.
You rightly said he almost brought the house down a few minutes ago. That would certainly be the reaction if this shot works out. Bit muted in the end, I thought, Scott.
Why am I not surprised he buried that ball? Can he finish? The question mark is the brown 7 past the black 8. And that is a lovable rub right there.
And nodded in approval with his whole body.
I don't think you're going to get better eyes than the guy at the table. It must go.
I think he's convinced even now, looking at it again.
It goes.
It goes for sure, you can see from there. And now I think we will hear a rapturous response. Can just finish the job here. So 4 racks in a row took Team Asia to the hill at 4-2. Jason Shaw got one back. Skylar Woodward another one. So it's all come down to the deciding rack in this team match at the start of day 2, and the youngest player in the whole thing has rounded it off. 18-year-old AJ Manis has potted the 9-ball that gives yet another point to Team Asia. They now lead the Reyes Cup 5-0. They're almost halfway to victory already in Manila.